Hello beautifuls and welcome back to my channel. Today I have 23 new books that I've just currently bought for a brand new book haul. So let's get into it. So I cannot wait to share with you guys all the new books that I've bought recently, but the first one is actually Float by Katie Marchant. I broke this down into like 4 different piles. I figured I would start with the romances. This one is a YA novel following Waverly, and Waverly is caught between both of her parents in a divorce. So the current argument of their family is who Waverly is going to spend her summer vacation with. And when her ideas are completely shot down, she is actually sent from Alaska all the way to Florida to stay with her aunt for the 3 weeks, or the 3 months. Summer is not 3 weeks long. And when she gets there, she feels like she's completely out of place because of all the sun. Nothing is like Alaska, and she just wants to kind of be by herself until she meets the boy next door. And his name is Blake, and he's very charming and brings him into her circle. But the only problem is they all love the ocean, love the water, and she doesn't even know how to swim. But as she's invited on all of these different trips with them, she's actually starting to feel like she belongs somewhere. She has friends that understand her, but summer can't last forever, and she knows that. But how is she supposed to go back to Alaska when she's finally feels like she's home? Love Buzz by Mila+Ains Alexander. I think I'm saying that completely wrong, but this is actually her debut book. Sounds amazing. This is another one of those wedding seasons, but with the focus not being solely on the wedding. This one follows Sienna, and she is not having the greatest time. She has a hangover. She's in New Orleans with her cousin's bachelorette party. She's not having that fantastic of a time, but she's actually from Seattle, and she runs into this stranger who's also on vacation from Seattle, and they actually hit it off really well. But with their conversation cut short, he has to leave and she doesn't know that much about him. So overwhelmed with the desire to find this guy that she met at this bourbon bar, she goes back to Seattle and decides to try to hunt him down, but she doesn't know that much about him. She knows that his name is Julian. He lives on Chamber Hill. He works for a tech company, and that he loves Lil Wayne and Nirvana. So just the simplest little list, and she is determined to hunt him down. But she's going to be featured in an article about very successful women in their 30s. So she doesn't want to completely disrupt her world and her plan, but she can't get him out of her head. So she's going to either choose to find this guy and see how it goes and completely say goodbye to what life she already has figured out, or try to forget about him, and that's not looking like it's very easy to do. Twisted Love by Anna Hong is the first book in the Twisted Love stories. So everywhere, I cannot see it enough. Every time I get on Instagram, it's just blowing up. TikTok, oh my goodness, I couldn't wait to get my hands on this. So when I went with my cousin to Target, I actually saw it and I grabbed it and I bought one for her, and it's just going to be amazing. This one follows Alex, who is a devil blessed with the face of an angel with a haunted past, and he has a ruthless pursuit for success and vengeance. But he is forced to watch his best friend's little sister, and she is Ava, and she is a free-spirited girl, but she is haunted by nightmares of a childhood that she can't even remember. But she only sees the good in everybody, and that's what she sees in Alex. She sees a really nice, calm, sweet heart, even over his icy man exterior. So they are 2 people who were just thrown into this, Ava's brother is Alex's best friend. They weren't supposed to fall in love together, but now he just can't get her out of her head. This is going to be one of those amazing where he's like obsessed with her, but sometimes those books just do it. They work. You don't probably want that kind of an obsession in the real world, but who knows? You might. They make really good smutty books though. To All the Boys I've Ever Loved by Jenny Han. I mean, I still have the summer I turned pretty to read, but why not just buy 3 more? And I'll just try to read all 6 of them by the end of the year. I will only talk to you about the first one though, obviously. I'm not going to ruin anything for you, but this one is going to be turned into a Netflix series. I think it already has been turned into a Netflix series, but there's no way I'm watching it before I read these books. So maybe, just maybe, I'll watch or read these and watch the book or movie at the same time. Then I can compare which ones I like more. But we have a huge stack, so I'm going to stop rambling. This one follows Laura Jean, and she keeps love notes to all the boys that she's ever loved in a hat box that her mother gave her. These letters were not supposed to be seen by anybody until one day they're mysteriously mailed off to all 5 of those boys. And her love life goes from non-existent to completely chaotic and crazy. This book, like, that would be terrifying. But maybe it's just the best thing that will ever happen to her because now those boys know her true feelings and she can see how it goes. Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune is another one that just came out. I have every summer after that is still on my TBR as well, but I'm going to get to that one before I jump into this one. But this one sounds just as good. This one follows Fern, and she spent 24 hours with a guy that she just met in her 20s because she was having a really rough time, and he rescued her from that. It was a chance encounter that turned into this wonderful day of adventuring, and they promised that they would meet up at the same spot in 1 year to try or to do it all over again. But Fern shows up and Will does not. So now she is 32. She no longer lives in New York City. She's back home running her mother's lakeside resort, and her ex-boyfriend is the manager, and she just doesn't know what is going to be next in her life until Will magically shows up with suitcase in hand 9 years too late. He is there trying to, or decides that he is going to help her and rescue her from having to run this lakeside resort that she never wanted to be a part of, but she knows that Will is hiding something behind his new business suit exterior because he does not seem like the boy she met 10 years ago. So this time she gets to figure out how she gets to rescue Will when he is there to try to help her. I cannot wait. It sounds so gosh darn cute. It's like a second chance romance. I'm really interested to see why he didn't show up the year later. I know that's going to be in there. One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston has been all over the place, but this one has like a little twist to it that it tells you in the synopsis, but most of the booktubers that I see that have actually read this book don't think that that should have been in the synopsis because it's really great to find out in the book. So I'm kind of bummed that I already know it, but I'm not going to tell you guys unless you guys look it up and see what it's about by yourself. This one follows 23-year-old August, who doesn't believe in true love. So she decides to move to New York. She rents a house with way too many roommates, figures that if she just gets a normal waitressing job at a pancake house and rides the daily subway, that's not going to change anything until one day she sees Jan on the subway, and she is this gorgeous old punk rock dressed girl, and she actually saves her during a subway crash. Casey decides that she is going to save Jane now in return because she thinks that she is gorgeous. She wants everything to do with her, but Jane is hiding a huge secret, and Casey just wants to help her figure that out. This is going to be amazing. It says it's hilarious, swoony, smart, otherworldly, dreamy. Casey McQuiston does not let anybody down. If you're looking for a new author to try to get into, Casey McQuiston is your girl. Never Never by Colleen Hoover has also been on my radar lately. This one, I do not know how she's going to pull this one off. Hit myself in the face. How she's going to pull this one off. This one follows best friends since they could walk, in love since they are 14, and currently married, Charlie and Silas. But one morning they wake up and they don't remember anything. They have no regulation of who each other are, that they were married, that they're in love. And then they get to figure that all out again and see if all those stories about the couple that they used to be is actually adding up to the couple that they want to be now, and if that is even what they want. Because the more that they learn about their past together, the more they question why they're even in love and together in the first place. I don't know how she's going to pull this off, but I've heard nothing but wonderful things about this. I'm really hoping that by the end of the book, being a romance book, that they do decide to stay together. But I think it's going to be a really good look into a relationship that has grown for so long, and see what an outside perspective, how that actually translates back to them. We will see. I really have good hopes for that book though. We're almost done with the romance section. This one is Emma of 83rd Street. I have that beautiful sticker there. But this one is by Audrey Bellezza and Emily Harding. This book, I don't know if it's their first book together or not, but this one just came out. This one follows Emma, and she lives on the Upper East Side, and she is 23 years old, but her sister is getting married, so she has to actually move downtown. But she actually moves right next to one of her childhood friends, Nightling. And she is one of those girls that always has to have her shopping spree, have new hobbies, have a plan, but she's just a little all over the place. So Nightling actually gets frustrated with her quite often because he just wants her to grow up and be an adult, until she moves in right next to him, and he realizes that maybe that girl that he's known forever actually is grown up, and maybe he actually likes her as more than just this frustrating childhood friend. I can't wait to get into this. This sounds super cute, like witty and wonderful, and just a nice little addition to my summer reading because it's so cute, it's so adorable. I just can't wait to get into it. It says the best rom-com I've ever read by Lauren Lynn, New York Times bestseller. I didn't even think I was going to buy that one, honestly. I was going to leave it on my shopping cart for a little bit longer, but I just had to. I saw it in the store. Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld is one of those books that I wasn't sure what it was about, but just the title kind of drew me in, honestly. I don't know how that works. But in my head, I had to have this book. This one follows Sally, and she is a writer for The Night Owls, a late night live comedy show. And one of her co-writers is just this average looking dorky guy, and he starts dating one of the actresses that is on this show. And Sally thinks it's so funny that all of these average looking dorky guys are getting all of these gorgeous women. And she thinks that that wouldn't happen for a woman if the roles were reversed, until the show actually hires Noah that is going to start co-hosting. And then they start working together closer and closer, and she realizes that maybe he could be into a girl like her, but she just doesn't believe it. So this book is going to kind of follow their romance and see if she actually believes that a guy like him could fall in love with a girl like her. Can't wait. Now we're going to jump into some horror thrillers that I just picked up on a whim because they sounded really good. A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham Actually reminds me a lot of this TV series called Prodigal Son that I used to watch on Hulu. It sounds really, really good. This one follows Chloe Davis, and when she was 12 years old, 6 teenage girls went missing in their small town of Louisiana. Couldn't remember which town it was. And by the end of that summer, she found out that her father actually confessed to all of those murders and missing girls. 20 years later, she is a psychiatrist for troubled teenage girls. And then a local teen girl goes missing, and then another, and then another. And she is just taken straight back to that summer when she found out that her father was a murderer. And now she wonders if she's just seeing parallels from the past that aren't really there, or if she's actually going to uncover a second murder. Prodigal Son got canceled, but it was so, so good. And I can't imagine this one not giving me those same vibes. Verity by Colleen Hoover is another one of those terrifying horror stories I wanted to pick up. Even if I'm not super drawn to them, I will get to them eventually. This one follows Owen, who is a struggling writer, and she actually takes a job for Jeremy Crawford, the husband of a best-selling author, Verity Crawford. And she goes there to finish these books in this really, really popular series that Verity writes, but she was in a terrible accident and can no longer write them. So when she gets there, she goes ahead and goes into Verity's study and tries to find all the notes so that she can start in on writing the rest of this series. But what she does find is the autobiography Verity wrote. And this includes a lot of secrets, bone-chilling admissions, including the night that her family was changed forever. And Lowen decides that she's not going to tell Jeremy that she found this autobiography until she starts to have feelings for Jeremy and thinks that if she shows him the autobiography that his wife wrote, there's no way that he would still love his wife even if she is injured, and then maybe Lowen will be able to take her place. This one is even sounds bone-chilling just by reading the synopsis. I think this one is going to be just like a horror movie. One of Us is Dead by Genevieve Rose. This one says that Colleen Hoover says that Geneva is the queen of twists. So right there, I can't wait to get into it. This one says that it follows a woman and she is the queen of this town called Buckhead, where it's expensive cars, expensive houses. Everybody in society is right up there. This one says that Shannon was the queen bee until she was unceremoniously dumped by Bruce, her politician husband, and replaced by a much younger woman. That woman was Crystal, and she is young and innocent, and she's going to step into Shannon's place. But Shannon is going to get revenge no matter what. Then Olivia has been waiting years for Shannon's crown to be hers, and Jenny owns Glow, the most exclusive salon in town, but she has lots of secrets and dark desires from all of her clients, but who knows if she's going to tell us about them. It says, who among these women will be clever enough to survive Buckhead and who will wind up dead? I can't wait to jump into it. It sounds so good. It sounds like one of those high, fancy, like rich people towns that just make really good stories. Sounds very drama filled. It's going to fix all my drama right there. You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Genevieve Rose. Oh, I did not even notice that. Okay, this one is her most recent one though, because this one just came out. This one follows Grace, who's looking for an escape from New York City, so she decides to take a vacation and books an Airbnb on a ranch out in the middle of Wyoming. But when she gets there, she realizes that she has no phone service, a woman has just gone missing, and she's already feeling this very weary vibe about the whole ranch in general, until she meets the handsome owner, Calvin. And they start to have this little vacation fling. But all things change when her departure date starts to get a little closer and their little playful vacation romance starts to turn into an obsession by Calvin. Calvin thinks that there is something that Grace isn't telling him about why she decided to take this vacation. So by the end of this vacation, things are supposed to get very destructive. I'm not sure if Calvin is the one that gets obsessed and has made this other missing woman go missing, but I'm really sure I'll find out. But now I have 2 books by her that I just purchased and I didn't even realize. Our next books aren't really romance, aren't really horrors, they're just kind of in between. Our first one is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I also picked up Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Our first one, Malibu Rising, is about one of those rich families, wealthy beyond belief. It follows the Rivas, and Nina is a surfer supermodel. Jay is a championship surfer. Hud is a renowned photographer, and then they have a younger sister named Kit. And these are all of the famous children from Mike Riva, a legendary singer. This follows their annual end of the summer party, but this is also set in August of 1983 Malibu. This is supposed to be super, super fantastic. It says that by midnight, the party is completely out of control, and by morning, the Riva mansion will have gone up in flames. I love reading stories about like rich, drama-filled people. It's kind of just one of those things that just, I don't know, it hits a good spot in my heart. Taylor Jenkins Reid's Carrie Soto is Back is actually about Carrie Soto, and she is a professional tennis player, and she is the best, literally the best. She has all of these records, so she decides that she is going to retire. But 6 years later, she is sitting in the stands while all of her records are being broken by this newcomer. And she decides that she is going to re-enter the sport for one last year so that she can claim all of her records back. And to do this, she needs to work with her father again, but also work with Bo Huntley. And he also has something to prove in the sport of tennis before he retires. I have heard nothing but good things about this one, and I'm pretty sure that Carrie Soto are in Malibu Rising, but I haven't figured that out because I haven't read it. I'm really excited to get into those. Frederick Backman's Anxious People is another one of those books that is so popular that I saw it at Barnes & Noble, and I thought, well, I'm going to just go ahead and pick it up, but I had no idea what it was about. I just thought it would be good because I'm like, I'm an anxious person. Why not read it? But this actually follows several people, 8 people, 8 complete strangers that is at this open house for this apartment, and a failed bank robber comes in and takes them all hostage. They all have secrets. None of them are entirely who they appear to be. But once they start talking, they figure out that maybe the bank robber needs more help than they do. And by the end of it, a strange chain of unexpected events happens that not even the 8 hostages can really tell you how it happened and why. It's like one of those stories that just sounds like it could be real life. Can't wait. The Collected Regrets of Clover is another one that's not totally romance, but it's just a little out there. This one follows Clover, and she has a very strong connection to death. So she decides to be a death doula after she has her grandfather pass away. And the final wishes of one of these feisty little old ladies that she's working with is actually to travel across the country to uncover this forgotten love story. So she goes ahead and takes this trip. She's not really sure why, but she does, for this old little lady. And she struggles to navigate between romance and friendship along the way, but it forces her to examine what she really wants in life. I don't know really what to expect from this one going into it, but it sounded so good I had to buy it. Our last little couple books are actually just middle grade books, but I'm going to show you this one first because it's so cute. I got into Pilates recently, and this one I found on Amazon, and it just looked so adorable. Like, it shows you little pictures of different things you can do, like around your house. Like, it's like so cute. I had to buy it. I have not read it yet though. I will get to it. Winter House by Ben Gutterson is a middle grade mystery. This one follows an orphan named Elizabeth, and she is shipped off from her aunt and uncle to Winter House. That is a hotel owned by Norbridge Falls, this really grumpy guy. So she loves the library there, but that's really the only thing that she loves. So while she's in the library, she comes across this magical book of puzzles, and when she figures out the puzzles, it gives her information about Winter House, and she starts to realize that she has a very strong connection to Winter House. But she also figures out that there's a lot of mysteries around Norbridge and his very sinister family. I can't wait to read this one. It sounds just so cute. Maybe I'll jump into it like in the fall or the winter, because that's usually when I'm feeling mysteries. But I also picked up Aggie Morton Mystery Queen, The Body Under the Piano by Martha Jacqueline. I can't wait to read this one. It's set in England in 1902, a little seaside town. This is where Aggie is mourning the death of her father, so she just does anything and everything to kind of take up time. She spends most of that time reading ghostly tales and talking to her imaginary friends until she finally meets a Belgian boy named Hector, and all of a sudden they become these like cute little best friends, and then a body is found on the floor in the mermaid room. And they decide that they are going to solve this mystery before the cops do. So this is a full-blown village of suspects, and these two little 12-year-olds are going to solve that murder. My very last book that I picked up for this book haul is Ghosts of Greenglass House by Kate Milford. These books are really, really good. This is the second one, and the first one was Greenglass House, and it was a winner of the Edgar Award for Best Juvenile Mystery. I absolutely loved this book. It was so cute. I didn't know too much about it going in, other than it's a smuggler's inn called Greenglass House. It has all those wintry vibes because it takes place during Christmas break for this 12-year-old named Milo, who his parents own the smuggler's inn, and out of nowhere, a bunch of guests start to arrive, and they all have this weird connection to Greenglass House. So Milo and Meddy, the cook's daughter, decide to take it upon themselves to figure out what all these guests are doing, why they're all connected somehow, and what they have to do with Greenglass House. So they start to decipher clues, figure out why certain things in the inn is going missing from these guests, who is stealing these things from each other, and why they're all there. It is such a cute little book. It really gives you the winter vibes. It's like a snowstorm. They live on this mountain. It is really, really adorable. And if you haven't read it, I highly, highly recommend it. But I recommend it in Christmas because it will give you all of those snowy good vibes. All right, guys, that is all of the 23 books I have purchased recently, and I can't wait to start throwing them onto TBRs because they all sound so good. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. I hope to see you there. Bye.